the limbic system nobody can account for. In March 1985, a 46-year-old British musicologist named Clive Wearing caught what looked like a routine flu, and within days, a herpes virus had burned through the limbic system at the center of his brain. Nearly 4 decades later, he still cannot form a new memory longer than 7 seconds, and yet his hands can sit down at a piano and play a piece flawlessly, start to finish. Neurologists still cannot fully explain how a mind erased that completely keeps a single door standing open. Clive Wearing was the picture of a life built on memory. He conducted choirs. He edited musical manuscripts for the BBC. He had married his second wife, Deborah, only a year before he fell ill. Then came the fever, the headache, the seizure that sent him to the hospital in London. Doctors identified herpes simplex encephalitis, the same virus behind a common cold sore, except this strain had crossed into his brain and attacked the temporal lobes and the limbic structures beneath them. The hippocampus, the amygdala, the circuitry that binds experience into memory. By the time the swelling stopped, those structures were largely destroyed. Wearing survived. What survived with him is what nobody has ever fully mapped. Here is the anomaly. Wearing cannot tell you what he ate an hour ago, or whether he has already greeted you today. Every waking moment feels to him like the first moment of consciousness. He keeps a journal, and its pages are filled with entries like "I am awake for the first time," crossed out, rewritten minutes later, crossed out again, for pages. He has done this daily for over 30 years. By clinical measures, he has no episodic memory and almost no ability to form new ones. His retrograde memory is nearly as damaged. He recalls almost nothing of his life before the illness, and yet, without hesitation, he still recognizes his wife's face. The first explanation doctors reached for was straightforward. The hippocampus converts short-term experience into long-term memory. Destroy it and you get amnesia, a well-documented condition, first mapped decades earlier in a patient known only by his initials. H.M. Wearing's case looked at first glance like a textbook repeat. Total anterograde amnesia, a damaged hippocampus, a tragic but explainable outcome. But H.M. never played Bach. Sit Clive Wearing at a keyboard and something happens that the hippocampus theory cannot account for. His fingers find the keys. He plays through entire pieces, phrasing intact, tempo intact, without a flicker of the confusion that defines every other second of his day. Ask him afterward what he just played, and he cannot tell you. He may insist he has never touched a piano in his life. The skill survives. The memory of using it does not. That split should not be possible if memory were one system housed in one place. It suggested something researchers hadn't fully reckoned with. That procedural memory, the body's memory, runs on circuitry outside the limbic system entirely, untouched by damage that erases everything else. The theory held, but it didn't explain the deeper problem waiting underneath it, because procedural memory is not the strangest thing Clive Wearing kept. Every single day when Deborah walks into the room, his face changes recognition, then joy, sometimes tears, as if she has just returned from years away, even if she stepped out for 90 seconds. He cannot recall her name reliably in conversation. He cannot recall their wedding. He does not know in any narratable sense that he loves her, and yet the feeling arrives before the thought does, every time unfailingly for over 35 years. Neuroscientists call this implicit emotional memory, and they can point to the amygdala as a likely site for it. Except Wearing's amygdala was also damaged by the virus, not spared. Something in the wreckage still tags Deborah as safety, as love, as home, without the machinery that's supposed to be required to know why. Nobody has produced a model of the limbic system that explains how an emotional bond can outlive both the memory that built it and the structure believed to store it. Some researchers propose that scattered surviving fragments of limbic tissue were enough to carry emotional tagging, even without conscious recall. But scans of Wearing's brain show damage too extensive and too symmetrical for that to fully hold up. Others argued the feeling wasn't really memory at all, Just a conditioned reflex to Deborah's face and voice repeating thousands of times. Except conditioned reflexes fade without reinforcement, and this one has never dulled, never flattened, never adjusted to familiarity the way conditioning should. A third theory suggested some form of memory is stored outside classic limbic structures altogether, distributed across the cortex in a way current imaging can't resolve. That one hasn't been ruled out. It also hasn't been proven. Clive Wearing is still alive, still greeting his wife as though for the first time, still capable of music he cannot remember learning. Every model built to explain the limbic system predicts he should not be able to love the way he does. He does it anyway, every single day, and nobody can tell you where, in a brain this damaged, that love is actually living. 885 words within your 5% target range.